جزاك الله خير. Yeah, I have them here.
Before we start with the questions and answers, Sheikh needs to clarify a couple of points. We need another 10 minutes. And then if we need more time for the questions and answers, inshallah, Sheikh is volunteering to add more time later on. After the we'll let the Sheikh continue.
طيب جزاكم الله خير. So, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. The second main prohibition in Sharia. By the way, before I talk to about gharar, a brother just asked me a question. If I am exchanging now apple with oranges, what will happen? So Rasulullah ﷺ was saying date for date. He didn't say you are not allowed to exchange other types of food. We are not allowed to exchange apples with oranges. He only said date was a basic food at that time. Barley and wheat were types of basic food at that time. For Rasulullah ﷺ in Medina. He said if you are, he was telling Muslims, exchanging these, it was a barter economy. Not everyone had dinars and dirhams at that time. He said, if you are exchanging these items, they have to be with the same quantity. Why? Because Sharia wants, this type of market to be stable. Because if it is not stable, the poor and the needy will be affected. And also the Sharia, why Sharia is putting some restrictions on this kind of transactions? Because the Sharia wants that money, the value of money, to be stable. Okay, when I send hand to hand, and Rasulullah ﷺ said to hand, so how are we going to do business, with millions and billions in this time, in the modern age, if everything has to be hand to hand and people are transferring billions and millions through banks and everything? There is something called constructive possession. When I receive this, when I exchange it with someone hand to hand, this is real physical possession. There's something called constructive possession, qabd hukmi. That means the ulama, they said if you do a transaction in the bank and you exchange your money in the bank, and the bank will put your money in the account or send it to your account overseas. If you have immediate access to this money in this account, then this is hukm shari. It is accepted in Sharia. And this is how companies make business, and they send money and they exchange money. So it's not, and you don't think that these ahadith are putting more restrictions in a way that the economy, no economy will develop or flourish with this kind of restrictions. The ulama have studied this ahadith and they said constructive possession is accepted as long as the other party has immediate access to the counter value or to his money or to the deposit. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. So this subject cannot be understood in one halaqa ya ikhwan or lecture. And even some ahadith, you need sometimes to spend a lot of time to understand the wisdom of the hadith or the meaning of the hadith. Even some ulama have struggled with the matters of riba. So we cannot understand them in one lecture or halaqa or la. I don't want you to make wrong decisions. If something sounds weird, it doesn't make sense to you, talk about it tonight. We'll deal with it inshallah. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. We talk about gharar. Gharar is uncertainty in business transactions. Jahala. So you make a contract, but you don't know the outcome of this contract. You don't know what you're going to get. What are you going to get? What is the counter value? You have some jahala, some ignorance about the counter value or the time of delivery. You don't agree about a specific time of delivery. Or you don't agree about the description or the qualities of the item you are buying. So this is jahala and this is gharar. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fi Sahih Muslim, naha Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam an buyu' al-gharar. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has forbidden the sales of gharar. Okay, a gharar is found in our business transactions nowadays. We need to find out what is the gharar that is haram and what is accepted. There are 3 levels of gharar. 3 levels of gharar, of uncertainty. The first level is excessive gharar. In Arabic it's called al-gharar al-fahish. Too much ignorance, too much jahala, you don't know. You're paying for something but you don't know what you're going to get. You are in the dark. So this is gharar fahish and this is not accepted in Sharia. And there is a low level of gharar. Al-gharar al-yasir. وهذا مقبول. This is accepted in Sharia. You buy a house, you know everything, you see the house and everything, but you don't know the foundation of the house. There is no way for you to dig and see the foundation of the house. There is some jahala, some ignorance there. But this is accepted in Sharia. It's a low level of gharar. You buy a car. It's not a new, used car. You look at the mileage, you look at the tires, you look at the engine, you take it to a mechanic. You know the car very well, you have tried it, you drove it for a while, you feel good about it, but you don't know every piece in the engine. So there is gharar here, there is some ignorance, and this is accepted in Sharia, because there is no way for you to know the inner parts of this engine. There is no way for you to know it. And it's not possible to ask the owner of the car to disconnect all these parts of the engine so you can see them if they are good or not. There is no way for that. So this level of gharar is accepted, and that's why yesterday I said there is some tolerance for gharar in Sharia, but there is 0 tolerance for riba. Riba can only use at times of darura, necessity. And there is a medium level of gharar, which is in the middle, and here the ulama sometimes they struggle to define the Sharia ruling. Is it haram or halal? Because it is in the middle. And it depends on the customary practices. They look at the urf, they look at the different factors to determine the Sharia ruling. But if it is a low level of gharar, usually it is accepted. If it is a high level of gharar, excessive gharar, gharar fahish, it is rejected in Sharia, and the transaction cannot be accepted. I'll give you an example about buying a car here. You buy a car, you're buying a car. And you make an offer to the dealer. The dealer is your friend, and he's selling cars. And you tell him, brother Muhammad or Ali, I have 5,000. I need a car, decent car. I know we are brothers. I will rely, inshallah, trust you, trust your honesty. I need a good car. Or you tell him a van, for example. But a van is still vague, right? And you give him the 5,000. And he tell you, brother, mashallah, don't worry about it. Wallah, inshallah, ma nakhtalif. I will get you within 2 weeks. Just give me 2 weeks, I'll give you a good car for this money. I'm sure that 5,000 will get you a good car. You don't agree on anything. Okay? And then after 2 weeks, he will get you a car. Or a van. You said you asked for a van, right? You didn't agree about the mileage. You didn't see the car. You didn't agree about the year, the make. You didn't see it. And then say, we'll get you a car. I said, brother, I don't like it. Can I get another car? Akhi, this is what I have now. And akhi, trust me, wallah, this is a good car. And this is, this car is for, this is what you can get with 5,000. And you might start fighting, right? Wallah, I thought you are an honest person. I thought you are a better person. I see you in the masjid praying in the first row. Huh? You have a long beard. They start fighting. Sharia doesn't want this. Sharia doesn't want this fighting and dispute. So you have to be honest and clear from day one. It's your mistake. Because you have to wait until he gets the car, then you see it. You don't give him money. You see the car, you drive it, take it to the mechanic, do your homework before you start fighting with your brother. So this is gharar fahish. You don't know the make, you don't know the mileage, you don't know the year of the car. You just gave him 5,000, say, I need a good car. This is gharar fahish, is not accepted. This transaction is rejected in the Sharia of Allah. Medium level, you tell him, مثلا, I need a van, Dodge Caravan, between 2004 2006. So you give him a range here, and you said Dodge Caravan, so you gave him more information. Low mileage, you didn't say, you didn't see the mileage. Your low mileage in your mind could be 50,000, low mileage in his understanding could be for this money, for this year could be 90,000, right? He will get you a car that has 100,000 mileage. You're thinking about 40,000 or 50,000, but you said low mileage. But you increase the information, this is medium level of gharar. Here, if you go to an imam, he might struggle a little bit about the Sharia ruling. Is this transaction halal or not? It's medium level of gharar. Low level of gharar, you agree that you're gonna, he tells you, I have a good car, it costs around 5,000, and he will bring the car in front of you, you try it, you see it, look at the mileage, the tires, the engine, you take it to a mechanic. You are trying to reduce now the lack of information. You are trying to remove the lack of information. So this is a low level of gharar. Here you'll be happy. If something happens, you cannot blame him. Maybe he didn't know about it. And he drove it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and something happens. Allahu Alam, maybe he didn't know about it. But at least you did your homework. You did your homework, you were fully informed when you made this decision. Fully informed. You knew everything about this car. But there is a low level of gharar inside the engine. You don't know what is engine. And maybe he doesn't know. Maybe there was a problem that he didn't know about it. So this is usually this transaction. The last one is accepted in Sharia. There is no problem with it. طيب. Gharar could be in the price. Could be in the price. So now I was telling you about 5,000. The opposite. The other scenario. You don't know the price. You know the service, but you don't know the price. You go to the brother, he's a mechanic, or he's someone who fixes, cars, the bodies of the car, and then you have some problem with your door car, and then you tell him, brother, can you fix this door car for me, the door? And he said, inshallah, don't worry about it. How much? How will it cost you? Well, I don't know, but inshallah, ما نختلف. we're not going to disagree. I'll give you a good price. And then you come back after 2 days or 3 days, he tells you $1,200. This is a real life story. I got it from a brother. I said, Wallah, I wanted, he told me 1,200. And he told him the same thing. We're not going to disagree. And I said, they cannot pay this price, and it's too much. Okay? And they start fighting. And he never went back to him. This is the end result. He never went back to him. But he ended paying like around, he said 900, 800. But there was a dispute, and he never went back. But if he gave him at least an estimated price, at least if he cannot give me the exact price, tell me a range. Tell me an estimation. So you reduce, the gharar, the uncertainty in your transaction. Unless, of course, the price is fixed, is known in the market, you're buying something that has the same price in all shops, that's a different story. If he doesn't tell you about the price, but you know the price. You're buying something that has a known price in the market. That's a different story. But if it is something specific, or a work that takes maybe 10 hours or 20 hours, and then you don't know how much, then you have to agree about the price. The gharar could be in the time of payment or delivery. You buy something from someone, you don't agree about the payment. I'll pay you later. It doesn't work in Sharia. If it is a credit sale, you have to fix the date. If it is a credit sale, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant in Surah Ayat al-Dayn, Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayat 282. It's the longest surah in the Quran. The greatest surah in the Quran, Ayat al-Kursi, but the longest the longest ayah in the Quran. It is the longest surah in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, but the longest ayah in the Quran is Ayat al-Dayn, Ayat 282. Dayn, about credit sales. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said you have to write them down. And it has to be ajal musamma. Ajal musamma yani a fixed date. You have to fix the date for your debts and for your credit sales. Gharar in modern transactions. I'll give you an example, but don't worry about it because one brother asked about it. something that is happening in the stock market. It's called stock options. I'll give you, it is haram because it is pure gharar. And gambling is haram because it is pure gharar. It is a win-lose outcome. Win-lose outcome. All our transactions are supposed to be win-win outcomes, or win-win games, or whatever you call them. If I sell you something, you get the item, the commodity, you're happy with it. I take the price, I'm happy with it. I benefit from the price. I got something, you got something. You're happy, I'm happy, alhamdulillah, everything is fine. But win-lose outcomes is when, if you win something, I lose it. That is my loss. If I win, you lose it. It's a win-lose outcome. Zero-sum games or zero-sum measure. So I'll give you an example here. For example, a basic example, then we move to stock options. I lost my car. Someone stole my car. And my car is worth 1,000. And Uthman comes to me and said, I'll give you $500 for your car. And Uthman will start looking for the car, hoping that he will find it. Okay? And if he finds it, he will take it, because I sold him the car for 500. But I am gambling with this transaction. Why? Because if Uthman finds the car, he will win how much? 500, because the value of the car is 1,000. So he will win 5. That is my loss, because the value of my car was 1,000. This is pure gharar, pure gambling. If he doesn't find it, he gave me the 500, I won, I got 500 in my hand, he lost 500. So 500 plus or minus 500 is equal 0. My profit was his loss. In the first case, his profit was my loss. 500 minus 500 is 0. Zero-sum measure. This is pure gharar. Any transaction that is based on this formula is haram in Islam. And that's why stock options are haram. Options in stock options, we have buyers of options and we have sellers of options. Buyers, they are holders. They hold the right of buying or selling. And the writers, they are obligated. They are the sellers of options. They are obligated to buy or sell. Here, مثلا, for example, I'll give you an example. Mr. X would buy 100 shares, options for 90 days, right? This is a simple example. He made a contract for the right to buy. And then they are 48, their price. The price of these shares is $48 within 90 days. The price goes up to $60 for these shares. Then the price is up, he's happy, he will exercise his right. Because he didn't make the contract that to buy, he bought the right to buy. And he paid premiums for this right to buy for $2 for each share. Premiums, $2. He paid them to the other person who is the writer. $2, right? So now the price of these shares goes up from 48 to 60. He made $12 for each share, right? Minus the $2 that he paid as premiums, his profit is $10 for each share. $10 by 100, the total is $1,000. That is his profit. That is my loss as a writer. Because I have to sell him the shares. I agreed with him to sell him with the price of 48 within that period of time for 90 days. And I'm the writer, I am obligated to sell him. He doesn't have the obligation to buy, because he can kill the right, this option, and he can exercise his right. Now the prices are up, he's exercising his right, he's happy. The prices are $60. He's making now 1,000, that is my loss. That is his profit, 1,000. Zero game measure. The other scenario, the prices go down to from 48 to 42 or 45. He doesn't exercise the right. He kills his right to buy. He's happy. He doesn't make money, but he lost what? The premiums. $2 for each share. How much? 200. He lost this 200. But that is the profit of the writer. The writer got this 200. He didn't sell, but he got these premiums, 200. And the holder paid this 200. And that's why they are haram. This is a basic example about options, right? We'll talk about questions later on, and I don't want to, because I don't want to confuse people about these things, but this is a simple example. Because we have other things to talk about, housing, and hopefully we have some time. Yeah? معلش خليني شوي نكمل. 5 minutes? Yeah? It's okay? بعدين we give them the... Actually, I want to talk a little bit about the basic principles regarding stock market. In 5 minutes, just explaining the idea in 5 minutes. Huh? In 5 minutes. يعني it's very simple. طيب. There is something about, remind me if I don't talk about extended warranty and other issues that we have in daily, like roll up the rims and extended warranty and other things that we have in our, we deal with them on a daily basis. We can talk about them during the questions. Now I need to talk about stock markets. Very simple. Companies are divided into 3 groups. Companies are divided into 3 groups. We have 3 groups or 3 types of companies. The first group of companies, they produce halal products, oil and gas, computers, halal products. Nothing haram about their products. And their financing is halal. They don't take credit lines. Their money is deposited in Islamic banks. These companies are not found in Canada. The first group of companies, they are found in Saudi Arabia, in Malaysia, in some Gulf countries, but they are not found in Canada. We don't have this type of companies here. You tell me, even Saudi Arabia, they have these companies? Yes, yes. The ulama, when they started talking about this, subject, and the universities, Islamic universities, they opened Department of Iqtisad Islami, Islamic economics, and the ulama, they started writing, doing PhDs and studying these issues and talking about these issues. In that society, they put some pressure on these companies. Like we have great ulama now who are specialized in this field, like Dr. Yusuf al-Shubayli. You don't know him because he's not a khatib. He's not someone talking about mawa'idh, and because he's specialized. You go look for his website, shubayli.com. He's a great scholar. You can benefit from him in this field. We have Sami Suwailam, Dr. Sami Suwailam. He lived in the US. He studied in the US, studied Sharia in Saudi Arabia. He's a Saudi scholar. He's working with IDB, Islamic Development Bank in Jeddah. His books are beautifully written. You can benefit from his books, from his articles. He has a website. Check him on Google. These people are not khutaba. They are not imams in masajid. People don't know them. But they have fatawas, they have books, they have, they have some material. You can read it and you can listen. Some of them are in YouTube. But usually they don't appear on this, they are not media people. But they are scholars, highly qualified. And some other scholars, there are many names. So they put some pressure on these companies, and some of them became clean companies. And how they became? They cannot cheat, because everything has to be disclosed. Their financial statement, their balance sheets, everything has, and these scholars are following this information. There are scholars who have websites, and they tell people, you can buy the shares of this company, you cannot buy the shares of this company. And they look at their financial statements and everything is disclosed. Right? Now we have the other extreme, haram companies that are producing haram products. Like companies dealing with alcohol, gambling, sometimes armament, entertainment, or pornography, or anything that is haram. Clearly haram in Islam. And we have companies in the middle, the second type in the middle, who are producing halal products, but they have some problems with their financing. They take credit lines and they deposit their money in the banks and everything. But their main activity is halal. So the ulama, all the ulama agreed that you can buy the shares of this first group of companies, trade them in the secondary market. There is no problem with that. there is an agreement that it is haram to buy the shares of these companies. There is no disagreement about it. It's haram. Here it's halal, here it's haram. So you're happy with these two rulings are clear. The problem is with the middle group. There is a division among the scholars. You have good scholars in this side who said it's halal with a specific criteria. And criteria is found now, it's difficult to explain this criteria now in 5 minutes, but this criteria is found in Islamic indexes. Put S&P Sharia Index, Dow Jones Sharia Index, all Islamic indexes, you'll find their criteria. You can, if you do some research on the net, you'll find their criteria. So these ulama, they said it is halal with this criteria. They tolerated some percentage of haram ingredients. And they have some criteria for accounting screening and for sector screening. Everything is there. And some ulama, they said it's still haram because they have some interest income. They have some haram ingredients, even if it is 5%. They said it is haram because Muslims have to stay away from riba. But this ulama, they said that Muslims don't have other alternatives, they don't have other options, and they can purify this income after they make a profit. They can purify their, because it's these indexes are monitored. Every 3 months they are monitored. Real monitoring taking place by scholars. They look at their financial statement and their balance sheets and everything, and they exclude some companies, they include other companies. It's called al-ashum al-mukhtalata or sharikat al-mukhtalata, that has some halal products and some haram activities. So the problem, disagreement is regarding C. So in Canada we have this third group, which is haram, completely haram, and we have the second group. And some ulama here in Canada, they said you can trade this based on their criteria. I will tell you, you just go look for S&P 60 Sharia Index. It's a Canadian index, 60 Sharia Index. This is the only option we have in Canada. But you cannot have an access to this list unless you become a member or you do it through a broker. As an individual, I myself was looking for this list of companies, but I didn't find it on the net. And now there is something called Wood Gandhi. Wood Gandhi is a brokerage. It's a brokerage company with CIBC. Now they are providing halal investment. Wood Gandhi, if you go to CIBC Wood Gandhi, they are providing halal investment. Yani some Muslim investment, they are investment advisors, and they are Muslim investment advisors. They are working with this bank, providing this window. And they are using the same criteria of S&P Sharia Index, the same criteria. The problem is they put the names of the scholars who are supporting this index in these websites, CIBC websites. And these scholars have nothing to do with it. Yes, it is their criteria, but they are not monitoring this investment. As a Muslim, if you decide to make this investment, I want you to pay attention to this. The scholars that are mentioned in the websites of CIBC have nothing to do with monitoring their investment activities. They place their names because they are the ones who approved this criteria, S&P criteria. But this S&P index is monitored by these ulama. Every 3 months they get together and they look at the documents and they screen the documents and they are actively involved. But when it comes to CIBC, they are not involved. They are there to tell you that these ulama approved this criteria. But the Muslims might understand that the scholars are involved with this kind of investment. This is something that you need to pay attention to. We can open the floor now to questions.
So we open the floor for the questions, and we take one question from the brothers and then one from the sisters. The microphone is now fixed upstairs for the sisters, for those who want to ask the question directly to the microphone. So just remember, be brief and try to refrain from a discussion between the questioner and the sheikh, so that we cover as many people as possible. So the first question is
This is a follow-up question to the one Brother Ghulam asked yesterday, and I just wanted some clarification on this. You said that RESP, if you feel like you may and your kids may resort to student loans or whatever, you can use this that option and get rid of the interest. Could could somebody use the same logic to say, why don't I just take all my savings, put them in an interest-bearing bank account, and take that interest and send it back home or give it to the poor so I can benefit?
The brother is saying that it's a follow-up to the question that the brother made yesterday. I mentioned the fatwa of Sheikh Salah Sawi, who said it's okay to use this saving accounts for your children, and then you get rid of you follow up, you watch this account, you get rid of the interest, you give it as a sadaqah, you don't get reward for it, but you get rid of it. It's called takhallus in Arabic. تتخلص من هذا الربا. And it's a good option because we don't have other options, and our children, when they grow up, they become 18, they don't have any other option except to apply for student loans. So now you are using another argument. Can we put our money, all our money in saving accounts, collect this interest and give it to our brothers and sisters who are in need of help in Pakistan and Africa and Asia? This is a wrong analogy. Why? Because there is no need for that. The second step, the second move, there is no need for it. But the first step, there is a great need for our children to have alternative. Our children don't have alternatives. And this ulama, when they make this fatawa about student loans, for example, or about these saving accounts, they are not making any money, this ulama. Like Sheikh Salah Sawi is working with AMJA, which is Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. They are an independent body, not affiliated with any government, and they are not obliged to make a fatwa to Muslims to help them. They are actually trying to look for solutions. Now the mas'ala we need to understand in our sharia about fiqh is easy to say haram. Everyone can say haram. Riba haram, mortgage haram, this is haram, this is haram. It's easy. But what are the solutions? These ulama, they are qualified scholars. And some of them had spent their 30 years or 40 years from their life dealing with fiqh issues. And they are not giving these fatwas to please any government. They are helping Muslim communities in the West. And they lived in the West, they know our situations, they know our conditions, they're trying to help Muslims. We object sometimes to their fatwas, and then we end up doing worse than what they said. I don't have saving accounts for my children, but this is an option for my children. I don't have. So far I didn't open anything. But it is an option for my children. But if I neglect this issue, and my child within 6 years, he will be 18 years old, and he needs to go to university. And then I'm stuck now here. I have to borrow money from other people to give him, to pay his fees, you tell me you can have tawakkul. Yes, I can have tawakkul. This is an option. Have tawakkul on Allah. Leave it until it happens. That could be your option. That could be his option. But fatwas are not based on this option. Fatwa is not based on wara'. Wara' is always good. Wara', which is taqwa. To be in the safe side. It's always good. But the ulama, they said, when there is an option in Sharia, they don't give fatwa based on wara'. They tell you if you want to stay away from it, it's better if you have another solution. But if you don't have another solution, that could be a solution for Muslims right away. Like مثلا these companies, the second group of companies who have mixed activities, halal and haram. Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen, he made a fatwa about this. He's a great scholar from Saudi Arabia, and to me he's a mujtahid. Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen, Muhammad Salih bin Uthaymeen, rahmatullahi alayhi. He passed away. To me he's a great scholar, he's a mujtahid. I benefit from his ilm and his knowledge. To me he's abqari, he's genius in fiqh. But he said about this ashum al-mukhtalata, it's better to stay away from it. These companies, it's better. But he said if you insist and you wish to invest, then you have to look at the haram, the amount of haram ingredient in it, and you purify your income based on this number. Like if it is 10% of the income of this company is coming from haram ingredients, you give 10% of your profit away. You get rid of it. If you don't know, he said you get rid 50% of your profit. To be in the safe side, if you are you open an RSP for your children and it is an investment account, I tell you to be in the safe side, get rid of the profit. But at least you have your money and the money of the government. You have something for your children. At least you collect some 10,000 to Allah to help your child with it. You know what I mean? And this is the fatwa of Salah Sawi. Anything I say here is not my personal interpretation. I got it from scholars because I want to make sure that I'm on the right track. If it is my personal feeling, I tell you this is my personal feeling. It's not based on fatwa or research or, you know what I mean? I always am trying to be careful about this, my statement, because I don't want to deceive anyone. This is a business with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Qiyamah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us about this statement. Jazakallah khair.
Question from the sisters now. Question from the sisters.
Assalamu alaikum. Let me get the question.
Can you say the question again and a little bit louder, maybe closer to the microphone, please?
Okay. I'm the only Muslim in my family. When I pass, do my children, if they're not Muslim, do they inherit from me? And how do I see about the care of my father and my stepmother, who are also not Muslim?
Inheritance. You talked about inheritance. You are asking about inheritance?
See, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. So there are clear ahadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "La tawarutha bayna ahli millatayn." There is no inheritance between people from two religions. So a Muslim does not inherit a non-Muslim, and a non-Muslim does not inherit a Muslim.
And what about the arranging for care for my father?
What do you mean care for your father?
Well,
The funeral expenses and those things? What
yeah,
did-
he and I don't talk anymore since like they're Muslim, but he and I'm not, because it's an Italian family, I don't inherit it, but he's left me in charge of his will. Should I ask him to have someone else do that? Or?
You are supposed as a Muslimah to have a great relationship with your father, even if he's not a Muslim. Well, Sharia says here you try your best, but if he refuses to talk to you and to deal with you, of course, I mean, it's up to you at the end. But as a Muslimah, as Muslims, we are supposed to treat our parents with kindness, even if they are not Muslims. The rule, the ruling with non-Muslim parents, that we treat them with kindness, but we don't obey them in the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't listen to them when they invite us to disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we keep the right to disagree with them, but at the same time, we try to be kind to them and treat them with kindness. This is the basic rule. Now, if he dies, of course, you need you are allowed to attend his janazah, his funeral, and take care of his funeral, and do all the due the obligations, the duties that family members are supposed to offer to someone who passed away. But the only thing is inheritance. Islam says there is no inheritance between people from two religions.
I'm from an Italian family, so I don't inherit anyways as a daughter.
Oh, okay.
Only the sons.
Interesting, yeah.
He's pretty strict about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, like, so I can, but it's still okay for me to continue to be the executor of his will, because he still has me listed as that.
You can be his executor if you want, but you cannot use his inheritance. You cannot benefit from it. Yeah, why?
Question from the brothers now.
Good question. I borrow X amount of money from a family member, and then later I give it back to them. But voluntarily, I give a gift to them. It's not a money. That's okay.
Did you attend our lecture today?
I'm sorry.
Have you attended our lecture today?
I did in the beginning and I heard it. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's halal. Yeah.
I heard it.
It's halal at the time of repayment. خيار الناس Rasulullah said خيار الناس أحسنهم قضاءً. The brother took a loan from a family member. He took a loan, and then he said, when I repay it back, when I pay them back, I gave them a gift, a commodity or something, not money, a gift. So is it halal or not? At the time of repaying the loan, it's halal. If you give it before, it's not accepted. Unless you have the habit, of exchanging gifts. Then if you mix between a loan and a gift, it's okay. If you had the habit, they are family members, they are close friends, that's okay. Rasulullah ﷺ made it clear. He said, if you give someone a loan and he offers something, but he never offered you anything before, don't take it, because it is a sign that he is trying to reward you for the loan. But if you had the habit of exchanging gifts, that's okay. Barakallahu feek.
Question from the sisters first, and then we'll come back to you. Question from the sisters. We're just waiting for the question from the sisters first.
They should tell you if there is no question. They should tell you there is no question. Okay.
Brother Mahmoud, and then you after.
The first example you mentioned about a person, he gave 5,000 to buy a van. From the beginning, is this sell and buy is allowed in Islam? If the seller doesn't have the material, the product, is allowed to give money while the seller.
Yeah, it is halal if it is done properly. It's called bay' al-salam. In fiqh, if you go to books of fiqh, you read about bay' al-salam, forward sale, or salam sale. If you give an amount of money in advance for something, it has to be well described. Well described, and the time of delivery has to be agreed upon. And this is called bay' al-salam. Rasulullah ﷺ, when he moved from Mecca to Al-Madinah, he found that they are doing salam in grain, delivering, they trading grain and wheat and some other agricultural items. So he said, "Man aslafa falyuslif fi kaylin ma'lum ila ajalin ma'lum." And the salam, all the ulama, based on the commercial activities of the Sahaba at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, they said the salam is only correct, is only valid with upfront payment. Upfront payment. It has to be on the spot at the time of the agreement. And you have to agree on the delivery time, and you have to agree with the quality. You have to be fully informed about the product that you are buying.
Even if the seller doesn't own it.
Yeah, it doesn't own it, but it has to be a non-specific item. Non-specific item, yani something that is fungible, that he is hoping to, most likely it will be available at the time of delivery. If it is specific item, like مثلا a salam on a specific car, a used car that belonged to Muhammad, okay, you cannot make salam on it. It still belongs to Muhammad. I receive the price from you, hoping that Muhammad, when I go to Muhammad, he will sell me his car, and then I sell it to you back. So I'm doing a salam on a specific item or a specific commodity. This is not halal. But it has to be fungible. So you don't find it with Muhammad, you find it with Ali, with Mr. X, with Mr. Y. It is available in the market, and the time of delivery is agreed upon. This is called salam, and it is halal. And it solves the problem of financing, because many people, they said, we don't have a solution for financing in Sharia. This is one type of making halal financing in Sharia. So this was a solution given by Rasulullah ﷺ. It was practiced by the Sahaba in Medina, people in Medina. But Rasulullah ﷺ, when he came to Medina, he approved it, and he told them, you have to do it properly. It is good, it solves the problem of financing for farmers. They're doing it, some Islamic banks are doing it in Sudan, and it worked with many farming companies. So the bank will do a salam, contract of salam with some farmers, and he will give them a payment. Let's say مثلا 200,000. Agrees with them to buy quantity of grain or wheat مثلا after 6 months. So they have to agree about the date of delivery, and they have to agree about the quality of the commodity. And this is well known in fiqh, in books of fiqh, and this is different than لا تبع ما ليس عندك. Do not sell what you do not have. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is talking about selling a specific item that you don't have. Hakim ibn Hizam, he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, someone comes to me in the market and said, sell to me this, and I don't have it. And then I get the price from him, and I go and look at it in the market. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, لا تبع ما ليس عندك, because you are not sure if you'll find it or not. لا تبع ما ليس عندك, but this is different. So there are different types of sales and contracts in Sharia. The more we talk about these issues, the more people, inshallah, will understand the different types that we have in Sharia, and we have a better understanding of this system or this industry of ours, inshallah. You don't have. The brother is asking, you talked about 3 types of company, halal companies that were found in Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and Gulf countries and other Muslim countries, maybe India and Pakistan. And middle ones that are mixed, and the haram companies. So people are involved in haram activities. Are you allowed to deal with these people? Sell them your house. Okay, you are allowed. What is the dalil? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam accepted the invitation at the time of Khaybar, invitation from a Jewish lady. She gave him a barbecued lamb, and she put some poison in it. And he ate from it, and the Jibreel came and told him that there is some poison in it. And then he threw it, alayhi salatu wasalam, but he got some poison in his body, in the state. And he said when he was passing away, alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, I feel the pain of that poison. So some ulama, they said, he's a prophet and he's a shaheed. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he accepted the invitation of a Jewish boy in Medina. And he used to deal with them, buy and sell with them. When he passed away, his armor shield was given as a pledge, deposit, rahan, mortgage, for 30 bags of wheat or barley. It was a credit sale. Credit sale, that means he didn't give the full price to that Jewish merchant, but he gave him, this Jewish merchant asked for a pledge, for a deposit, for rahan. Rasulullah ﷺ gave him his armor shield as a rahan. He passed away, and his dir' كانت مرهونة عند يهودي. And at that time, they were heavily involved in riba. They were giving riba, giving loans. And Rasulullah ﷺ still dealt with them. And the ulama were able to come up with a conclusion that it's okay to deal with kuffar who are involved in haram as long as your transaction with them is halal. This is what you need to make sure. Your transaction with them is halal. You don't have to inquire about the sources of their money. It's not your problem. If you do that, you don't live in this country. Maybe you don't live on this earth now. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. And they are not Muslims. She is not Muslimah? And the husband is Muslim. Children are Muslims, yeah.
Now the hadith is clear that cannot be exchanged with non-Muslim to the Muslim.
Yeah.
But the person is told that there was a disappointment on that part. So would it help?
What do you mean by disappointment? Is it a real life story?
Yes, it is in a way.
Okay.
But then the lady that has asked from upstairs, has she declared to her husband, our father, that if you do not, we cannot accept the inheritance. So he would prepare to do something with it, otherwise the God will take it.
That's a different story, and I was supposed to clarify the Sharia ruling to the sister, yani. And I don't know about the full story, but here I'm supposed to clarify Sharia rulings. But what other arrangements are supposed to do, I mean, I don't know. Allahu Alam, yani. I don't have the full story.
She's not expecting inheritance.
Yeah. She's not expecting, but is she supposed to take care of her father or not? I said, yeah, you can take care of him, execute his will, but you are not, based on the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are not allowed to benefit from his inheritance, and that's it. And when you tell me it's a disappointment, I have nothing to do with it. This is the statement of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
It's like making him understand the situation.
Yeah.
He may give an alternative, but he will definitely understand that his children are not going to inherit.
Yeah.
So it may change his mind, it may influence him some
To become Muslim?
Yes.
Why not? It's a good idea.
So that should be forward to him.
It's a good idea. Why not? Yeah. We're talking about da'wah now. And I'm dealing with Sharia rulings. I'm not talking about da'wah tonight. And we're trying to deal with fiqh issues, what Rasulullah ﷺ said, business. Da'wah, it's a different field. I agree with you. I agree with you when you talk about, when you are counseling someone, then you look into these different options. But here we're talking about haram and halal in our business transactions. But jazakallah khair for the nasiha. Barakallah fi. May Allah bless you.
But if he tries, he may.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Loving,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
We have a question now from the sisters. They are ready to say it now. Go ahead, sister.
We have a question from a sister who has a mortgage with a bank locally, and she was referred to an organization in the States. This organization, she would call and talk to them, and they would call her bank and ask the bank to change the structure of her mortgage from interest to profit. Everything else remains the same, so the payments and everything remains the same, only the structure is changed from interest to profit. And then once they've done this, the organization gives a certificate saying that the loan is halal, and they charge $2,500 for this service. Is this something which is allowed?
Yeah, I know the company very well. It is not allowed. I need to say the name of the company so people stay away from it. It's Ijara Loans. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. There is no conversion here. There is no conversion at all. And they tell you, if you are a beginner, you are still planning to buy, the sister here, she got the house, but if you are someone who is planning to buy, they will tell you, go to the bank and get the mortgage. And we convert your mortgage within 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay? Now, some Muslims, the moment they hear, going to the bank and get a mortgage from the bank, they say, this is haram, I'm not going to go to the bank. There are a group of Muslims who think this way. The moment you tell him, go to the bank and get a mortgage, he said, I'm not going to do it. This is haram. Which is good, alhamdulillah. There is another group of Muslims, they believe their story. They believe them that the conversion will take place. So I'll try to explain here the concept of their agreement. The concept of their agreement, they said there is a conversion, but there is no conversion. This is what I believe. شَيْءٌ أَدِينُ اللَّهَ بِهِ. Something, I'm going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with it. There is no conversion here. You are a client. Of course, you sign a mortgage agreement with the bank. And this mortgage agreement will not be cancelled. It will stay with you for 25 years. So the bank will keep collecting the same payment. But the bank is not collecting the payment from you. So they create what? Something called a trust in the middle. And they tell you the ownership of the house will move to the trust. The trust is a virtual, entity. It's not a person. So they open an account for this trust. Ijara Loans becomes the manager of this trust. For their management or for their Sharia structure fees, they take around $2,500 in their pockets. They are brokers. They are not financiers. They don't give you any financing. They are brokers. And they take with every payment you make to the trust, every payment you make to the trust, they take $20 in their pocket. You have to pay $20 extra. This trust, from this trust, the money, your money will go to the bank. So they tell you it is halal because you're not dealing directly with the bank, you're not paying the bank. But you sign documents, mortgage documents with the bank. These mortgage documents are still valid. The bank will not cancel them. Because the bank does not trust the company might go into bankruptcy. He wants you to stay in the picture. And he wants to keep these documents. So there is no conversion. It's like, مثلا, you buy a house from the bank, but instead of you going to the bank and making the payment, you tell Ahmed in the middle, brother, I don't want to deal with the bank. Can you take my payment to the bank? I'll give you $20 for your help. Every month you take my payment to the bank. Does it make it halal? Tell me. Huh? You're asking someone to act as a mediator in between, just taking your payment from your pocket, you'll be paying, making the payment. They said you don't own the house, so ijara, you are renting from the trust. The trust is the owner. At the end of the agreement, 25 years, this trust will sell you back the house for $1. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be deceived. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be deceived. You tell me, where is your ear? I should tell you, here is my ear. I don't tell you, this is my ear. Okay? So this is the concept. And they got a fatwa from some people, Allahu A'lam. But they used the fatwa of Sheikh Taqi Usmani, who is a great scholar. He's an authority in the field from Pakistan, Pakistani scholar. Well-recognized scholar in the field of Islamic finance. Fatwa that he made 15 years ago about something else. And it has some similarity or something. They used it. They put it in their website. After he found out, Sheikh Taqi Usmani, about it, he said, I have never agreed or approved any ijara schemes in North America. He made a press release, and it is in his website. Hopefully, if you go to his website, you'll find it there. So it has an impact, but not all Muslims are aware of these things, of these games that are taking place in the market. That's why we need to educate ourselves, ya ikhwan. We don't want to be deceived under the name of Islam. We don't want to have a doubt about everything. And we don't want to be deceived under the name of Islam. So that's why we have to learn and educate ourselves, educate our children, so we can do, inshallah, halal business, our business in a halal way. If we buy houses, we buy them in a halal way. We're happy, we're fine. We are comfortable that this is halal. We don't buy them with doubts. Because there are even ulama who said it is halal if you go to take a mortgage from the bank. If you have, if it is one house, and it is only one house, you're not doing it for business, like to make a profit or anything. But their proofs are very weak. They are not. You cannot compare between their proofs and argument and the proofs of the Quran that says, this riba duyun is haram, is a major sin. Their proofs are not from the Quran. They are not some. Do you want me to talk about this? Huh?
I think I already have like 3 people, potentially 4, already lined up for questions. So
can we come back to it at the end?
we have about 10 minutes now. We're running really out of time.
Okay, I'll leave it till last 2 minutes to explain a little bit about it.
So no more question after this 3 Brother Shahid, Brother Amin, Brother Yusuf. So we've been waiting. So Brother Shahid first.
I was wondering about exchange-traded funds.
ETFs? It depends. What are they? They are like mutual funds. So what kind of?
So like basically like funds that are basically.
They are halal, but they have to be through a certain criteria. So the brothers is asking about ETFs. I don't know if everyone is aware of ETFs. But there are some purely halal ETFs in Singapore and Malaysia. They are appearing now. So companies providing halal products. But the problem is if you buy these things from Malaysia and Singapore, from here, you pay higher fees. Like for one transaction, you pay like around $99 or something. And if you do a transaction here in North America, you pay only $10. And some people, some brothers told me there are some taxes, consequences. So I don't know. يعني you have to inquire yourself. It's a decision that you make. But ETFs here, if you are buying through Islamic, the criteria of Islamic indexes, it's up to you. I don't tell you buy. The middle, the middle companies I said about, those companies that have mixed between halal and haram. I don't say it's haram and I don't say it's halal. I keep quiet about it. But I tell you that there are some good scholars who said it's halal through this criteria. If you find ETFs that are sold through this criteria, like مثلا there is a company in the state, it's called Iman X, they sell mutual funds. And they are following the criteria of Islamic Dow Jones Islamic Index or Dow Jones Islamic Index. Their criteria is similar to the one that I talked about, S&P 60 Sharia. They follow criteria. So those companies that are in the middle, the ulama, they said you buy through these indexes. Those who said it's halal, the ulama are divided into two groups. And myself, I don't say haram, I don't say halal, I just explain to people. And I do like Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen said, it's better maybe to stay away from it, but if you want to buy, it's up to you. You go and buy. But through this criteria, because the other companies, you don't know about them. It's hard for you to come up with a conclusion as an individual about the other companies. It's not that simple. Because they look at accountings, at the debt over the leverage, debt over the market capitalization value of the company. They look at their the cash value that they have. There are some accounting, that is involved in it. So the ulama, they have a criteria. So you follow this criteria, it's up to you. You can buy these things. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
I'm also going back to again share stock market, and also I just want to have a little more clarification about what Prophet ﷺ used to do that business with non-Muslim people, those who are involved with riba and haram product or something, right? So he used to do business with them. So if we would buy a product like share market, also stock is a kind of virtual product, right? So if you could tell a little more about that, what is the difference and what type of business Prophet Islam used to do with non-Muslim people, and what in our circumstances what we cannot do or can do.
Rasulullah ﷺ, the brother is asking what kind of business transaction Rasulullah ﷺ used to do with non-Muslims. Rasulullah ﷺ used to buy and sell with them. Didn't have shares, didn't have stock market at that time, didn't have options. These are all new things. So Rasulullah ﷺ used to take loans sometimes when he has a shortage of money and pay it with the same amount. There is no riba. Someone he was one time in need of money and he said, I'll give you a loan. He took a loan, qard hasan, without paying any riba. When he did this credit sale with the Jewish person, it's a credit sale. It's halal in Islam, bay' mu'ajjal. He got the bags of wheat or barley, and he was paying him on a monthly basis or on a regular basis, installment sale. And it's halal when the price is fixed. There is no problem with that. So all his business transactions were halal, Rasulullah ﷺ. But didn't have this complex, products that are available now in the market. But how do we know what is halal and haram? We go back to the concepts. In Islamic finance, we need to understand the concept. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about riba, what did He say about gharar, about oppression, about some, we understand the concepts and then we apply them to modern, transactions that are available nowadays in the market, within the financial market, the modern financial market.
So, quick, Edison, the other part of that, you said you are the halal group of category that we can do.
The halal are not found here in Canada.
No, I mean other countries. But
Yes.
Still gharar is involved there, right? So
Where is gharar? If you are buying a share from a halal company, where is gharar?
Uncertainty there, right?
Where is the uncertainty? The prices, about the prices? No, basically the ulama, they said it's okay to buy shares. You are buying a share in a company, there is no gharar. Like مثلا you're buying a product from China. Okay? You can tell me there is gharar. Who said it's haram? Buying product from China and bring it here. Vacuums, for example. You're hoping that you will sell them with certain price. But there is no certainty. Who knows? The market might go down. Maybe someone else, a bigger company, will bring the same product. And then they will be selling them with cheaper prices. This is risk. This is commercial risk. It's halal. Actually, if you don't take a risk, you don't make profit in business. This risk is approved in Sharia, is accepted. There is another risk that could be arising from weather conditions, natural disasters. You having some merchandise here, sending it to Toronto with a truck, and the truck may have an accident. You are taking a risk, right? Transportation, right? But this risk is haram, is halal. It's halal to take this risk. The risk that is haram in gharar is when you do some contractual arrangement in the contract that are not clear, the outcome of the transaction, and you don't know if you're going to win or you lose. You know what I mean? There is jahala, you don't know, you have no knowledge. مثلا you sell something to someone, you don't agree about the time of delivery. مثلا. So he doesn't know when he's going to receive the product. And then you wait, you don't send it to him. You try to send it to him after 2 years, and he's crying and screaming. You say, we didn't agree about the time of delivery. This is gharar. This is haram. Right? So not every gharar, every risk is haram in Sharia. You got the point?
Yeah. So making contract, there is uncertainty in the contract.
Yeah, uncertainty in the contract. There is always uncertainty with weather conditions, with natural disasters, with commercial risk, with, yeah.
No, okay. Before we take the last question from the brother, we'll take the last question from the sisters. Question from the sisters now.
Who has the obligation to pay for the fees for the university, the mother or the father? And this is the fees directly to the university, not the student loan. But if the child does take a student loan without the permission of the parents, do the parents share in the sin?
Yeah, could you repeat the question? Like two parts. Could you repeat again, please, Jazakallah? I'm sorry. There are two parts. Yani, just tell me about the first part and then the second part.
The first part is who has the obligation to pay for the study of the children, the mother or the father?
Okay, this is the first part. Okay, there is no obligation here because your child is an adult. And what is our obligations, duties towards our children when they are minors and when they are in need of nafaqah? They don't have income, and income is to cover their basic needs. Basic needs. Food, shelter, medication, clothes. These are the basic needs. So if you don't cover these, if you don't provide these basic needs, you will be asked, taken into account on the Day of Judgment. Because you have to spend on your children. University education is not one of the basic needs. It is something nice if you do it. It's good if you help your children, if you pay their education, university. But you don't have to. Allah will not take you to account for not paying the fees of higher education on the Day of Judgment. If you leave your children without food, without clothes, without basic needs, then you will be asked on the Day of Judgment. And you have money, of course. If you don't have, then لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden someone with something he's not capable to perform. So, but it's nice, it's good if you help your children. The second part you said, if the children take the student loan without the permission of parents, are they sinful? They are not sinful because he took the loan without their permission. But here is something that is not known to many people. And many people will think this is weird and they never heard about it. If your child has a loan, Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, is not my fatwa, and some other scholars, they said you are allowed to give him from your zakat. I'm saying Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, I'm giving you the reference. They said you are allowed. You are not allowed to give him from your zakat if he's faqir. He needs help, financial help. You have to spend on him. Here in this case, you have to spend on him. It's not zakat. But this is something you don't have to pay for him. If he takes a loan, it's his move, it's his transaction. He took this loan. So Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, some other scholars, he said, in this case, you are allowed to give. We are not allowed to give zakat to our parents. We're not allowed to give zakat to our children. Okay? We are allowed to give zakat to our cousins and relatives and brothers, sisters and uncles and aunties. But your children, if your children have a loan, not because they are poor and needy, you are covering their basic needs, but because they took a loan, you are allowed to give them zakat to pay their loan. You know what I mean? So if you are facing this case, you can do it. And I read it with my own eyes, the fatwa of Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah.
Last question, please.
I have two quick questions. The first one is just a follow-up to the topic about the options. What if somebody is getting paid base salary and options, stock options? Should we get rid of that portion of the options? And the second part of the question, can you please shed some light on the foreclosures and auctions?
Foreclosures? In housing market?
There is in housing, there is in equipment as well.
Yeah, I'll talk about housing. Yeah, about housing. Foreclosure. So I'll start with foreclosure. Can we talk? Yeah, it's okay. For everything. Yeah, foreclosure. Okay, we start with foreclosure. Yeah. Foreclosure is another confusing matter, yani. I don't have a clear answer about it. The brother is asking about foreclosure in housing. And when someone is not able to pay, right? This is what you mean? And the bank takes the house. Buying a foreclosure house, right? Yeah, this is what he's asking about. Yani someone, he couldn't pay and the bank took the house and the bank is selling the house in the market again. Are you allowed as a Muslim to buy it? So we'll talk about this issue. Yani I don't have a clear answer, but I'll tell you what are the fatwas of the ulama. They talked about it. They got together, AMJA scholars, for example, American Muslim Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. Their website is amjaonline.org. So they have their committee, fatwa committee. There are 7 scholars. They got together and they talked about it. But before we talk about their fatwa, I'll tell you about the concept. The word mortgage in Islam is not haram. The word mortgage itself, it's rahan. And we have the concept of rahan in Islam. Yani you give someone a loan, you ask for a rahan, for a pledge, for a deposit, security deposit. It's halal. So when you buy a house through the bank, you mortgage your house to them. So your house is a security deposit for the loan. And people believe mortgage itself is haram. Mortgage itself is not haram. So in Sharia what we have, if someone has given a loan to someone, okay, or there is a debt obligation between them, and he gave him a property as a mortgage, as a deposit, security deposit. In Sharia, he can, of course, take him to the court, and then he ask for his loan to be paid. And he can take his property and sell it in the market. The Sharia, they said, either he has to give him the permission to sell it in the market, or he can get the permission from the court. And here in Canada, they do the same thing. These banks get permission from the court. And they call it the power of sale. They get the power of sale. They don't own. The bank does not own. I want you to understand this. The bank does not own the property, but they have the power of sale. But legally, through the court order, they are allowed to sell it in the market back. And the Sharia says it has to be sold with a market price. Like they cannot sell it with a cheaper price to hurt, the other party. It has to be. And here I think they do it with the market price. So these 2 conditions are there. Okay? But when these ulama got together, and they talked about it. They were divided into 3 groups. 7 scholars, because it's a very delicate issue. So 2 scholars, they said, it's halal with some conditions. I don't memorize their conditions. You go back to their website and you look at their conditions. And 2 of them, they said it's haram, and 2 or 3, they said نتوقف. Which means نتوقف? يعني we couldn't reach a conclusion. Among them is Sheikh Salah Sawi. He said they couldn't make a decision about it. نتوقف. This is a good sign that they have taqwa. Yani they don't want to say something they're not sure about it. Even they have knowledge, they have enough knowledge, but they are not. They couldn't make a decision about it. So but the basic principle is that if you buy it from the bank, and the bank is allowed Islamically and legally to sell it, okay? If the bank give you a facility, credit facility, بيع بالتقسيط, and then there is a fixed price. This is basic concept. I'm not saying it's halal or a basic concept. In Islam, if there is a fixed price within a fixed term, 10 years, you are able to pay it within 10, with a fixed price, then this financing is halal. This is a basic principle in Islam, but I don't know about the other conditions. To be honest with you, I don't want to give you the wrong fatwa. So it's not a fatwa, I'm just giving you more information about what's going on in the market. What is the other question?
The first one was about the options, like the follow-up. Somebody is getting paid in stock options and a base salary. Should they get rid of that portion of the options or execute them?
But the value of the options is from your part of your salary?
It's part of the compensation.
Oh, it's a bonus?
It's a package, yeah.
It's a bonus?
Yeah.
Or a part of the salary? Is part of the salary?
No, it's a bonus, but it's not known until the end of the year.
Wallah, I am not sure about it, but my nasiha, get rid of them. Sell them. This is my nasiha. You get يعني sell them.
Sell your options?
Sell your options, yeah. Because you didn't go for this transaction. You know, it's a gharar, based on pure gharar. But sell them. Wallahu a'lam. That is my nasiha. Yani don't keep them. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Yani this is a matter that we need to discuss it with other scholars maybe. But this is my initial reaction to this. Yani I was asked about it before, and I told people the same thing. Try to get rid of them. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
With this, we conclude. And I just want to say a few things if you want to pay attention for just a minute or two. And we made the Iqama on time, inshallah, 9 to 7. It took about 3 months to arrange a seminar like this one. And we are hoping to make other seminars similar to this. And it's very difficult, you have to understand, to bring a renowned sheikh, and he's doing us a favor coming here.
No, al-fadlu lillah. Al-fadlu lillah.
We didn't even have
I'm
to
not
pay.
doing a favor.
We didn't even have to pay
we
for
are
his
in
ticket.
need of ajr and thawab. Allah yabarak feek. Jazakallah.
And we thank him first, inshallah, for coming to us. And we thank all the volunteers that worked hard to make this seminar a success. And we also thank the sister who sponsored the seminar. And she's a sister from the mainland, as I mentioned yesterday. She's not even from here. So we encourage people to help out, and whether it is with money or with physically, to help out in setting up other seminars. We are hoping to do a seminar about family issues, because this is the most requested topic, most requested subject. So help out, inshallah. And we thank the Sheikh one more time, and we are hoping to bring him back again to Victoria, hopefully in the summer, for another, maybe not a financial related issue, but another topic, inshallah.
Why, if I come in the summer, I need to bring my family, so
With the
I need
family,
to spend
inshallah.
time with my family.
With the family. جزاكم الله خير for attending. سبحانك اللهم
جزاكم الله
وبحمدك
خير.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
بارك الله فيك.
بارك الله.